Namaste and welcome to your practice. Really going to play around with some weird things today. So bring your curiosity, and it's really important to move outside the box. This is what I like to do on my mat. Sometimes I'm like, I have done all the yoga. There's nothing new, and it feels redundant, and I really need to shift. And I'm like, how can I move differently? How can I get from A to B differently? Sometimes I gather inspiration from other people. Sometimes it's just me and my mat and a lot of wiggles. But it's more than just what are we doing differently on our mat. We need to take this off the mat. We get in Samskaras is what they're called in Sanskrit, that it's a habitual pattern. It's the thing that you always do. And how many times in our life do we feel, stuck in those ruts? Sometimes it's keeps us stagnant, and sometimes it's actively harming us or people around us, that we are continuing to do the thing that we always do. The question is, what do you do when you don't do the thing that you always do? And do you know what the pattern is? So a samskara is actually translated as an unconscious habituation, an unconscious pattern. So first needing to bring that into awareness, and then we have the ability to shift and to mitigate and to have some more agency. So learning about our patterns, self-inquiry, and then we get to play around with them. So today it's all still a work in progress. I'm playing around. I was getting stuck in some of my movement patterns. And I'm letting you in behind the curtain, and we'll just see what happens. So bring your hips to your heels, and let's take a seat back. And just bring into your awareness maybe something in off of the mat that you are noticing that you're doing over and over. The reactivity, possibly. A certain type of response that you wish that is hard to break out of. Or maybe it's a behavioral pattern. And you'll notice in our movement practice today that likely it's a little bit uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable to do the new thing because we don't know what we're doing. It's the harder thing. But eventually, the harder thing becomes the easier thing. And then we've created a new pattern. Feeling your inhales broaden your heart a little bit more. And then exhales, just settling in the moment, settling in the body. Expansion on the inhale. And just settling on the exhale. We can have both. We can expand and settle. I think I needed to hear that today. Tabletop position. So we're going to move slow, but move mindful. Might get a little, like I said, it might get a little weird. Begin to find some undulations of the spine. So I've been really liking to scoop the pelvis first, like letting this scoop tucking, letting that initiate the movement, and then moves me forward. And then the tailbone comes up as it drags me back and arches. Scoop it, rounds the back, comes forward, chin comes to chest, and then reverse it, send it up. That arches the back, press into the hands. And then scoop, claw into the hands, drag yourself forward. And then push into the hands as the tailbone comes up, the back arches. So find your rhythm, your cadence here. And walk your hands forward. Soften the elbows, melt the pelvis down, and we're going to lay the thighs down, the pelvis down, the heart. Arms go wide, feet go wide to the corners of the mat, and some undulations here. So press the pubic bone down, Scoop up the low belly and then press into the hands. Rounding the upper back and then unfurl, lengthen, get longer, and then lay it back down. Bring your glutes on in this. So squeeze the glutes, corset up, plume the heart, and exhale, lay back down. Again, pubic bone presses, belly scoops up, and release. Hands to heart center. Kind of lift the sit bones up just slightly, and we'll kind of glide back from the sit bones. Press into the hands. And a couple more undulations back and forth here. Slowly scooping. I got to really slow down to think about it. All right. So as we come forward, you're going to bring the heels up towards you. Bring the heels up towards the glutes. And then shift the feet over towards the left. So kind of bring them both over towards the left here. And then the right knee, you're going to pick up and bring it down next to the left foot. Press down into the left hand. This leg is going to kind of swivel around. You're just going to slowly press down through the left hand as you peel up the right arm. Unwind. Kind of stargazer, wild thing-ish. I'll have to think of a name. And then exhale. Bring the seat down. Kind of you're pouring back forward, and then we'll scoop the right arm. We'll sway the right arm all the way over to take a twist to the right. Pressing down through the right fingertips, bending the elbow. Heart center still moving forward here. And then slowly unwind. Left hand comes to the top of the mat. Press down to lift up. The right foot comes to the back of the mat. Plant the sole of the foot down. So you might want to bend the standing leg so that you have a full grounded foot here. Right arm comes up and over. Reach, big side body stretch. And then press into the right foot as the left foot comes to the right knee. Really big in a side body stretch. Heart spirals down, right hand plants down. The left knee comes halfway up the mat. Inhale, the right leg lifts. And exhale, let's tap it back. Turn and gaze here. Take a big side body opening. Then let's step all the way on the outside of the mat, or the outside of the hands, and wave, pour your body forward. Steady breath. Left hand plants, right arm comes up and over, grab for the back foot. Bend in both elbows. Roll the shoulders back as if you're going to draw the elbows towards one another. That can open the heart even more. And then pull back on the right hip crease as you twist. Maybe come out of the hips a little bit and see how that is. And then slowly release, hands plant, downward facing dog. Inhale, wave, forward plank pose. Exhale, the knees come down, elbows come back, and we're going to glide the heart down again, laying it down, thigh, belly, heart. Inhale, cinch up the waist just slightly, bring the sit bones, or bring the pelvis up as you glide back. Hips to heels, undulate the spine. Steady breath. All right, let's go to the other side. So as you shift forward, pick the heels up towards the glutes, and then shift the shins over towards the right. Put the weight in the right hand, pick up the left knee, and it's going to go towards the right heel. It feels like Simon Says. Press into the right hand here, lift the hips. So you're starting to get a little, like a C curve in the spine. And then slowly the left arm lifts up and over. Begin to open the heart, cactus the top arm. Slowly kind of spiral the heart back down as the hips plant. The left arm swings around. Take a twist. Bend the left arm just slightly. And then twist towards the right. Right arm plants. Left foot comes to the back of the mat. Whole sole of the foot's on the ground here. Left arm up and over. Get really firm in the right hand and the left foot. Rainbow the left side body, and then pick up the right leg. The toes go towards the knee. Continue to press, press, press into the hand, and then spiral the heart down. The right knee comes halfway up the mat. Inhale, lift the left leg, and to exhale, tap it off the side of the mat and take a twist here. Take a side body stretch. Press into the hands. You can feel this on the left side waist, feels nice. And then big step, left foot outside the mat. Draw the hands forward like a lizard variation. You can pour the heart down or you can stay up, pressing into the fingers. Right hand plants, left arm up and back. Grab for the foot. Then come out of the hips a little bit. Take more of a twist. Press the back foot into the left hand. Both elbows are bent. Heart center's pulling forward and up. You can imagine that the bottom tips of the scapula are kind of lifting the back of the heart. And slowly release. Plant the hands, shift back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, wave, forward plank pose. Exhale, the knees come down, elbows bend, thighs, belly, pelvis as you lay it down. This time we'll wave the hands behind the back, tops of the toes, pubic bone pressing down, hands interlace. Press down, lift up. Long in the back of the neck. Glutes are active, back is active. Leaving the heart up as the hands plant down by the side. Cinch the waist up slightly, lift the hips as they glide you back. Hips to heels, undulate. Spinal wave forward and back. Some days these feel rhythmic, some days they feel clunky. You'll find your cadence. And then coming forward, lift the heels to the hips and shift them, the shins over towards the right. Right knee towards the left foot. Try to go as much as you can. The foot coming towards the hand even. And then peel open. And as you do, shift the hips forward. Make this really slow. Press into the left hand. Maybe the hand comes behind the head. The more you can shift the hips forward, you'll have more space to come back. Maybe the right arm trails off the side. And then begin to gaze back down towards the left hand. Take a seat. Swoop all the way forward and down as you come around to take a twist. 3 rounds of breath. Slowly release. Spiraling back around, right hand plants, left hand plants, right foot at the back of the mat. Take a big side body stretch here. Get firmly rooted through the foot and the hand. Big rainbow arc. And then lift the left leg up. Option, maybe you extend the leg. If you do this, you have to really press up as if you were holding something up with the foot. Gaze down, heart spirals down, knee comes halfway up the mat. Inhale, halfway lift the leg up. And then exhale, take this side body stretch. Press into the hands, press towards the right side of the mat. And then take right foot, step all the way to the outside of the mat. Shift the hands forward to this lizard pose again. And then sway the spine here, up and down. And then walk the right foot over towards the side of the mat, and let's take a pigeon pose. And you can stay up or you can come down. Hips can be square, they can be open. I'm gonna stay up in this variation. So my hips are square. Press down and I'm pluming the heart up. Again, imagining like the scapula could poof, lift me up, and really pressing into my hands and letting that help me lift. Another thing you can do is you can reach back and grab the sides of your mat. And we're not tugging or anything here, but it can just help to stay stable and help us stay lifted. You might notice I have my back foot active, just an option. Steady breath, broad collarbones. And as you release, plant the hands, scoop up the low belly, round the upper back, and very slowly shift into tripod down dog. Bend both knees, open both hips, and you can stay here or take wild thing. Or another option, you can bring the left forearm down, widen the right hand just slightly, and kind of take this variation here. Really pressing into the left forearm. Press, 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 press your belly back towards the left thigh. And wherever you are, wild thing or right here, we come into downward facing dog. So come into both hands. Wave it out. This time we'll just wave forward, wave back. Wave forward. This time bring the knees down and then slide back and forth through cat-cow. We do it on the other side. Nice, scooping the pelvis. Once more, scoop. This time lift the hips, the heels towards the hips, and shins go over towards the right. The knee comes to the heel, and bring it back a little bit more. And before I open up, really press into the right hand. And then left arm comes up and over. Head pressing into the hand, heart's opening, hips are moving forward. Steady breath. Glutes are active. And then send the hips down. Reach the left arm forward and around, taking a twist. All right. Swivel back around. Right hand towards the top of the mat. Left foot towards the back of the mat. Bend the legs so you can get the whole foot there. Right hand, left foot really strong. Left arm up and over, big rainbow side body. And you can make this a little bit shorter too. So pull the left leg in. You might have a bit more foundation. And then when you're ready, lift the right knee, the right toes towards the left knee. Option to extend the leg out. It's a big option. You can bend the standing leg. You might have a little more availability. And then spiral the heart down. Right knee comes halfway up the mat. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, take the side body stretch, kind of push into the mat, push away. And then big step up, lizard pose. Outside of the mat, hands wave forward. Your variation, or sway the spine 3 or 4 times. And pigeon pose. Shifting over. Finding your variation, I'm going to stay up. Hips are square. Pressing the front shin down into the ground. Flexing the front foot. And then pressing down through the fingers, lifting the heart. Thinking about pubic bone pulling towards the belly, belly pulling towards the heart, heart pulling towards the throat. Maybe even the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Possibly the hands pull back. Could also clasp the hands behind the back. Different options. And slowly release when you're ready. Hands come to the top of the mat, tuck the back toes, and then scoop belly, round pelvis, and then press to come back downward facing dog. Wave it out. And wave it back. Once more, coming forward, the knees plant. We'll slide all the way back down again. Untuck the toes. Heart lifts. And then elbows bend as you melt. Hands behind the back. Tops of the toes, pubic bone pressing down. Lift the heart up. Steady breath. And hands to the side. Hips guide you back. Child's pose. Keep the hips to the heels as you round and come up. Sitting on the hips. Hands to the lap or to prayer. Just noticing if anything came up. Doing some weird, new wiggly things. What came up in the body. Maybe it felt resonant. Maybe it was like, what is this? That's fine. It doesn't have to fit. Or maybe it was like, yes. Maybe even built off of it. It's just interesting to watch our reactions. We all have preferences. We are often ran by our preferences, what we like, what we don't like. It's just interesting to be aware. Another thing to observe. And then reeling it back to what do you do when you don't do the thing that you always do. Which can be quite an interesting inquiry and quite an important one for many of us. So if there are places in your life where you are ready for a shift and you know you need a shift, I really invite you to explore outside the box. On your yoga mat, drive a different way home from work, do things differently just to get used to, being on your toes a little bit. Because until you make the harder thing the easier thing, it remains that mountain to climb. But we have the ability to shift that, and that's what our practice does. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that you found something here that was of benefit. If you'd like to explore more longer practices, we'll break this down more and expand on it, then head over to CCY Studio. It's my membership service. Lots of long form classes there. So we've got more time to play and explore and all the good things. See you next time somewhere on your mat.